I think from our match against United, when we played in the MOG Dallas, we've seen that it was very close in a lot of the maps, and that we can definitely hang with them in the respawns. I think that our playstyle sort of plays well against them.
During that match against Millenium, I think our team started off a little slow, and if we just keep our pace fast, and we dominated the last 2 maps in the series, so if we keep our pace fast, we'll be fine.
I think what makes eUnited such a good team is their chemistry, and bar Silly, who's obviously been about for a while, I think that sort of makes our chemistry a lot better, and they're just a better team for that reason.
I think most of Millenium's been playing together for a pretty long time, so they were also considered the best team in Europe for like the first half of this year so far, I'm pretty sure. They just have a lot of team chemistry. We're just going to play fast in all of our respawn game types and hopefully just outplay them.
Our play style sits well against them, and just got to play our own game and hopefully win the gunfights. That's all we need to do.
We're starting this one off with a big matchup. Millenium trying to steal a big win against eUnited, and here are the maps they're going to have to play up against the #2 squad in the world. Felony, you were saying great things about Millenium during that video. What are you looking forward in this series alone?
Millenium, I had a chance to speak to them prior to the match, and they said that breakout hardpoint against eUnited that they're very confident, and eUnited, that's probably one of their weakest hardpoints, so they have a good chance to take that. But if they want to take this series, they need to secure both search and destroys and still respawn for them.
Steal a respawn, that's going to be the key. Is it going to be done in the hardpoint, or is it definitely the uplink you're banking on here, boys?
I think that hardpoint, sort of the first 2 maps, sort of breakout hardpoint on one hand, that's where eUnited, we've seen them show signs of weakness. We've seen them lose to Optic Gaming, some of the best teams in the world. And then map #2, Retaliation, Search and Destroy, another big story to me. I mean, that is eUnited. That's where we've seen them in their prime, one of their best maps. So those first 2 maps are going to be huge for this series.
Teep, for the fans who haven't watched either of these teams, what are you looking forward to most?
I think Millenium is just going to come out a lot more fresh, to be honest. The amount of games that they've played on LAN most recently should be in their favor a little bit, but it is eUnited. They're going against one of the only teams that can compete in Hardpoint, especially versus Optic, so going to be a hell of a matchup to start here.
Millenium hasn't won a tournament yet this year, but they've been one of the more consistent teams from EU. Will they be able to pull off the upsets here? It's time to find out. Our casters are ready. That means the game is just moments away. Let's send it over. We got Maven and Courage.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, it's a fun one. You know, we hope that we can get a similar result to last weekend, but yes, the big story for me here, there is a lot of pressure now on Europe. You know, we saw Fnatic fall, Splice the only team in. I feel like Millenium or Epsilon have to get top 2. One of them needs to get in the top 2.
I just tweeted about this. 2 NA, 2 EU. Who comes out on top? Unfortunately, for my predictions, European fans probably won't be happy to hear this. I do actually have eUnited getting first, LG getting second, but I think you differ a little bit. I think you've got who? Epsilon getting second?
I did. I'm high on the Epsilon boys, man. They won back-to-back 2Ks. You saw them go off at Birmingham. I feel good about it. But, you know, you think about it with the way Elevate's been struggling looking forward to week 4. There's a chance we may have one European team playing in that top 8 playoff. So there's a lot of pressure on these 2 teams, but let's get into it. Starting the action off with Silly from eUnited.
We are watching Silly. Want to make sure everyone at home knows driving this weekend, our observer is none other than Patrick Aches Price. So if there's any time he misses a kill, he misses anything on the map, feel free to roast him on Twitter. Another thing that's going to hurt us this weekend, he can actually talk to us whenever he wants. So I'm expecting multiple troll attempts. This is not going to end.
I'm looking forward to it. Pat, one of the best in the business. We'll see how he does this week. I'm playing COD Knowledge, man.
I'm kidding, he is.
He's about to be a great driver, but let's look at Gunlist now. The guy exploded this year. One of the quickest and strongest rises we've seen in Call of Duty ever, really, for esports. And I think the most impressive thing is how much respect he has from pro players so quickly.
We do our media day every Thursday prior to weekends, and Gunlist was a big topic of interest that we brought up with these players to hear exactly how they feel. Even after all this time of him being involved in Infinite Warfare, there was one thing that every single player said. He earned the respect, he deserves the respect, and he does have that from everyone in this group. Right now, a 2-2 start for him, but either way, eUnited do have this early lead. One thing to point out, though, look at your mini-map. Millenium set up now for cell block.
So you saw Millenium do a solid job off the break. Now, eUnited do a solid job. Now let's shift focus over to Millenium a little bit and see what they can do here on cell block. So it's going to be Nolson inside. They're already mounting an early comeback here after failing at the top middle hut. Nolson not dealing with much yet. He saw one on wall run. He'll be ready to peek this. His teammate actually picks it up. It's going to be on him and Moose. As several entries come in for eUnited, looking to hold the edge. Nolson, Moose, still holding strong. One more here, and that's a big hole. They were in a, what, 2v3, 2v4, but look at the back spawn. Luminosity still has it.
See, I do not agree with the use of the Scarab here when he's getting pushed from multiple angles. Thankfully, Moose is still somehow alive. Moose on now, what, a 5 streak inside the hardpoint, 11-3, does get cut down, but either way, we will go ahead and swap back on over to Silly, who we started this game with. Millenium have brought this game back from what was a 20-point lead earlier for the North American squad down to a 3-point lead for the EU team.
Well, that was all Moose and Nolson for the most part. They were the 2 people alive there in cell block. They go off, but let's see what PD's able to do. Trying to snap onto Arcades. Marky B is able to trade that out. Once Moose gets back up, maybe we'll show him some love as he is leading all players. 11-5 right now, leading the way for both sides. But Millenium doing a good job holding here. Marky B in a power position. You got to hit those shots.
Yeah, he does have a couple shaky ones there. Thankfully, his teammate was still alive at Bulldozer, but unfortunately, Arcades comes flying out of that wall run. The quick 2-piece there with the NV4 to retake the hill for eUnited, and this is that power position. This is everything on this graveyard hardpoint. It cannot be stressed enough. You need Bulldozer control. Whether it's on either side, now eUnited do get the confidence to push on through, and it's off the back of a first blood by Gunless.
Yeah, they've got complete control. You see spawning in the back. It's actually Gunless picks up 2 kills. There was a split spawn that came in from Millenium. Now this is going to allow them to push forward. They're going to be able to 2-hit the back helipad. Gunless is going to get the scrap time. Let's go to the hit. Arcades first to drop. Moose coming up clutch. Silly going to be at mid-map trying to rotate over. He should be the first in the commissary. But you can see he's surrounded by purple arrows right now. He's going to have to hold strong. Wins the first gunfight.
Yeah, and he actually does get help in middle map as well from Arcades, who's currently 7-6 with this NV4. Watch out for him to be the main AR for this team throughout the weekend. And they just have to now watch this mid-map cut, the outer wall run. This could really be a huge lead opportunity now for eUnited. Millenium beginning to soar across the map. Can they get the break?
Let's see if Arcades can hold. You see he's on a 2 streak. Gunless has 3 in a row. Nice job locking down mid. We swapped to Gunless's POV. Can he trade out the kill? Nice job staying alive. Tagged up by Moose. The assist comes in, but finally he will drop. eUnited now up 50 or so points, starting to get a little bit of control here.
And that was huge by Silly. He actually played aggressive to kill Nolson. That gave him enough time to turn back. Watch that outer wall run. You saw PD there panic. He falls off the map. PD 4-12 with only 2 seconds in the objective. You need more from one of Europe's best if they want any chance of winning this first match.
It's been the Moose show for Millenium. Right now,
it always has been the Moose show this whole year.
Moose has been phenomenal throughout this year. He ends up dropping several down for either side. Rustini
oh God.
Trying to connect. Now it's Friday. It's the first match of the weekend. I know the guys have been warming up, but we've seen some shaky shots from both sides.
Yeah, and right now the shakier seems to be on the side of Millenium. One thing to point out, Millenium, it was mentioned by Felony. He spoke to Marky B and crew. They were extremely confident on this map. The theme of this weekend for the European teams will be stealing a respawn off of eUnited and Luminosity. If they want any chance, they've got to steal a respawn and win both S&Ds.
And on the other side of this, talking to Gunless last night on Hot Mic, he spoke highly of Arcades. He was his player to go off, to have a big weekend. Right now, 13-9, leading the slaying side for eUnited. And honestly, they don't really have an edge at all. I think they're actually being outslayed by 1 kill, but that's what eUnited's been able to do throughout this year.
This is actually big. Look at the minimap. 2 players who just died from eUnited spawn all the way out at the back helipad area. Now that's actually PD who just got that same spawn. These next few engagements near this back side of the map could absolutely determine where this next minute of time goes.
Well, this will be Moose inside. Remember, him and Nolson were the ones that were able to hold strong our first time through. Moose, a nice slide there. Nolson picked up one in the back. He baits for Nolson, so Nolson has 3 in a row. Marky B 3 in a row as well. Moose has been amazing here, just staying alive and biding his time.
And this is what always happens, Maven, it seems like on Breakout Hardpoint. Because you have 3 hills that are essentially money hills if broken and set up correctly, any team, any lead is not safe. We saw it last weekend with FaZe Clan versus Rise Nation. Now again here as Millenium are trying to keep it close. They still have 2 players in this hardpoint. It's Moose that gets the cleanup. This is about to be a 20-second game yet again.
Yeah, I mean, Moose and Nolson have basically set up a tent and cell block. They've absolutely destroyed there, and that's why Millenium are still in this game. You saw eUnited set up in a power position before. They were able to hold down Cave really well after the original break.
Yeah.
Can Silly and crew get it done here? It's going to be on Marky B to try and get in. He did find the first kill.
This is the big pinch now coming into play. This, if it works, would be great, but it is a tough play to make. Right now, Marky B charging on through. Gumless gets caught mantling, which will give an opportunity now for Millenium to push on through. There's 3. The pinch works out. All 4 now dead on eUnited as Millenium are surging back into this game.
We should see a lead change here. You only got one more crack at this, really, if you're eUnited.
Look at this flank.
30 seconds remaining, and Marky B coming in behind. He does have FDL to work with. Able to tag up one, at least turn heads. Finds 1 kill. Good distraction there as his teammates clean them up, and Millenium still trying to hold, but there's going to be a dogfight inside. Several Millenium players flying through. Finally, they get it with only 15 seconds left. Nice break from eUnited.
eUnited gets so lucky right there that Arcades stays alive, hiding behind the backside of the bulldozer. He gets a kill, contests long enough that the teammates get the close garage spiral spawn, flood right back in. If Arcades doesn't make that play, we have ourselves a tied game.
And again, look at this. I was mentioning it before the action got a little bit heavier, but eUnited being outslayed right now, but still with a nice lead, man. That's what they do. They play the game properly. They're not maybe going to blow your mind with flashy plays or outslay a team by 20 kills, but they'll get the wins. And talking about these sneaky plays.
I love this positioning from Pristini. Gumless is just going to try to stay alive for the moment. Pristini will now collapse from middle map, and this is what Gumless does best, Maven. He at least takes one with him to the grave. This is a perfect example of how eUnited, they might not be the top slaying team in some of these hard points, but right there they get, what, 30 seconds? Even if they give up the rest of this time, they've still got themselves about a half minute worth of a lead.
Absolutely. Let's see if Millenium can pick up the final 15 seconds or so and try to claw back into this one. It looks like to be one more push for the scrap time from eUnited. Silly and crew can break in. They're finding all this junk time. Doesn't it feel like well, okay, I take it back. As Nolson gives him a fist to the face. But we're going to rotate out back to mid-map. PD, a 2-piece here in Showers, going to set them up nicely in loading.
And we know how important Showers is for this middle hard point. It's the angle to be able to shoot down on anyone in the hill. Those windows right there can't be shot through, so always awkward as 2 players see each other, know that they can't actually engage right there. As Nolson just staying alive in Showers. My goal for Millenium here is not really to get a ton of time, it's more to stop eUnited from breaking that 200-second mark, from getting closer and closer to winning this game, and then play for the full 60 at Showers, where we've already seen Millenium do quite well in this map.
Well, let's see what Nolson's able to do here, Jack. He's trying to stay alive. He's on a 4 streak. He was trying to work towards the Trinity rocket, but finally does fall. Now, this next rotation, let's take a look at the mini-map. You can see spawning on the left-hand side is going to be Millenium. They're going to need to try and push through, try and fight for the cell block spawns as the rotation is going to begin to occur. You see that number 3 on the mini-map. That's Gunless starting to rotate back, get set up for the next hardpoint, spawn his teammates there with him. Now remember, this is where Millenium's found a lot of their time with that duo of Nolson and Moose. Can they get it done again?
Well, the issue is the other times they found that time was because they were in the hard point first. They were set up. This is the first time that they haven't been. They're going for a 4-hit as well of the outer wall run. This, for me, is a make or break. This is the entire map. They already have Centurion drop for eUnited. The pressure now beginning to come in. The first player in the hill will be Moose. A second challenge now coming into play. Gumless is there with the help of his teammate. It's 4 dead on Millenium. This should be eUnited's map to take.
Yeah, it should be done here. You have Camo to work with if needed. Pristini's already pushing out here to make it come in even slower. Now the Camo is popped. He's just playing his time, playing the distraction. Wins 1, 5 ticks. And eUnited has taken map 1.
GG, North America strikes first in our yellow group with a scoreline of 250 to 169. Maven, when you saw everyone from Millenium line up to 4-hit that outer wall run, you knew the game was done. You knew the game was done.
You have Centurion down, you have Camo for Gunless, so much to work with.
The gesture at the end, too.
But, I mean, it's typical United, right?
Yep.
Don't go off in the slaying department, but they get the W's. Fantastic team effort all around. I mean, I can't even think of who really stood out for the squad. Everyone getting it done.
Arcades. I would say Arcades actually looked very consistent for me on that map.
Yeah, that's what Gunless said. He thought Arcades was going to have a really nice weekend.
You saw a couple times, and ooh, okay, look, we got the eUnited logo behind us now. That's called improvements, folks. You'll see that as the CWL Pro League continues to go on. Shout out to the production team, as always. And to the fans coming this weekend, remember, day 1 is always off limits to the public, but we'll have a nice little crowd in here tomorrow. And I believe, actually, the rest of Stage 1 events, whether it's the final week as well as the playoffs, are all sold out.
That's awesome. It's gonna be amazing. You know, last week was hype. We had some crazy matches. The crowd was getting into it. It all came down to that final match. We're excited to see the storylines develop here. Is eUnited gonna do what FaZe couldn't last week and take control of a group in which they're widely considered the best team, or is this gonna be more of a toss-up? As a lot of people have talked about.
Maven, you talked about eUnited. I want to see how they got here. I believe they have a little video.
eUnited is the breakout team of this Infinite Warfare season. Led by Silly, this squad has gone from being called online warriors to earning the respect of the entire community. Gunless, Pristini, and Arcides have all become household names in competitive Call of Duty, and give hope to any amateur or up-and-coming players looking to start their professional career. These 4 players weren't even a team until after the CWL Vegas Open. Silly failed to see success with his original eUnited lineup and formed his current roster prior to CWL Atlanta Open. Their immediate stellar online play in the CWL 2K Pro Point Series tournaments began to force people to take notice of this team. By the time Atlanta came around, all eyes were on eUnited to see if they could perform at a major LAN event. They wound up steamrolling all the teams that weekend, and they only dropped 1 series, and it was to Optic Gaming. They were crowned champions, and the doubters were silenced. Their incredible online performances, accompanied by the LAN Championships in Atlanta, secured this team the 2nd seed in the North American Pro Point Battle. Their dramatic grand finals against Optic Gaming at the CWL Atlanta Open and the CWL Dallas Open will go down as some of the most exciting matches in Call of Duty history. They seem to be the only team that doesn't get blown out by Optic, as they have consistently traded series across the last few events. The duo of Arcides and Pristini have continued to play consistently well, while Gunless is the shining star of this team. Not only was he the CWL Atlanta Open MVP, but he dropped an incredible 18 kills in Game 5 of the first series of the final at Dallas. If this team can stay humble, continue working hard, and keep their focus on the game, then eUnited will certainly continue contending for championships throughout the rest of the year. Tune in May 5th to the 7th to see how eUnited performs in Stage 1 of the CWL Global Pro League.
You see there how eUnited got to this point. You know, there were doubters, there were haters, but they continue to silence their critics. Yep. Phenomenal team.
They proved that the system, you know, hey, amateurs last year, let's push for this. This is a goal of ours. They put in the time. I believe Gunless said his first event was like February of last year. To now be at the stage he's at here, unbelievable, really unheard of for the most part. It's a great story. We'll take a look at your box score for map number 1, where if you're just tuning in, eUnited did strike first, and that's really the worry. We can't touch on it enough. European teams need to steal a respawn off the North American squads and then basically be lights out in S&D this weekend.
You know, we talked a lot about cell block where Millenium did a solid job. Unfortunately, they get smoked everywhere else. Yeah. That duo of Moose and Nolson was fantastic. Nolson, you know, a guy that stood out in respawn game modes last year, continues to excel here. 1.22 KD, phenomenal stuff. But Arcides, you mentioned, most kills on the team, 98 seconds in the hard point. He was an animal.
And what was so great to see from Arcides too was some of the decisions he was making and where he was positioning, how he was staying alive, especially that one near that graveyard hardpoint when he lived in that back bulldozer area. Instead of it being like 160 to 160, he built his team back up to a 40-second lead. There's a look at him on your screen. He's earned himself a lot of fans this year. What can Millenium do though? They grinded last weekend here at the arena. LAN practice more than really any team coming into this weekend. Can they reflect that now in Search and Destroy?
And you saw Nolson, you know, going off in game 1. He was the birthday boy yesterday. I think he just turned 20. So let's see what he can do today. We hung out with the Millenium guys a little bit last night. We all went to a movie. It was a good time.
Yeah, we had ourselves some fun, but unfortunately the fun has ended for them now. It's all business here in the, what is this, the yellow group, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure, because next week's the green group. Next week's the green group. Final
green Optic. That's how I remember.
Oh, that's actually easy. Another thing that is green is the trees here on Retaliation. That's called a segue into a different idea and topic.
That was horrendous.
That was, just like my casting so far. But Retaliation S&D, some changes to the spawns have absolutely adjusted how teams have to play this map, especially when pushing towards that lower street site.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to hit it first if you're the offense. And I like how it's kind of spread the map out. We see A hit quite more frequently than just kind of that flood up mid-street over and over and over again. But now we go. I think I called eUnited Luminosity 3 times last map. It's a light blue. Colors, you know, at my age, the colors can mix me up. But let's see what Gunless can do now. He has been a phenom in Search and Destroy. He is a camo player. A lot of pressure on him to get the job done.
Look at the difference here. See how he's pre-aiming this bottom garage? That he knows that it is now very common for the team on defense to rush towards that low area. Typically, the player who would push towards low would flood right through that bottom garage in the old spawns. Now completely different. eUnited get first blood. They're in a 3v2 with the bomb plan.
And another thing to point out is, not every team does this, but you should. Your bomb planter, most often your camo player, so they can work towards that camo faster and faster.
Pristini spotted him. He's going to trail him right here. Such a smart play. Now a 3 versus 1. It's Moose, the superstar Millennium throughout this entire year all by himself. There's no shot. First round goes to eUnited.
And it was all Gunless opening it up, finding that first blood, then getting the bomb planted quickly. Things fell apart from Millennium early in the round. You'll see the final shots here from Pristini as he closes out with the final 2 kills. Nice aggressive play for him around the backside.
I'm now just remembering, this map was the map you could always rely on for eUnited of all their S&Ds because of how they played that lower street side. Remember how, I believe it was Dallas, where you would watch this map for eUnited and they would just smoke teams. It was not even close. And I'm wondering if they're still as strong with the changes to it.
Their only big struggle was Scorch, and that's no longer in the S&D rotations. Yeah. That's got to bode well for them, you think. Moose getting some grenades out and backing up, but it's Gunless with back-to-back first bloods. As he continues to go huge, you can see at the top right, he's almost halfway to his camo already in round 2, but there he will get chopped down. Moose coming up clutch. It's now going to be a 3v2 for Millennium.
Yeah, and eUnited, they get read like a book right there where they try to 4-hit that top hotel hallway. Yes, they do get first blood, but then they kind of push forward through different choke points one by one and get easily punished. Here's an example of the changes we see on this map now. More focus towards the A site as Moose will plant the bomb.
All right, so PD and Cruz setting up here mid-street. It looks, and they typically will flock together. This is a team very effective at trading their kills. You see the purple arrows on the mini-map, making sure they'll be able to trade, and it's going to be Silly and Arcides now working the retake. I think they were just spotted in the front side.
Oh, Marky Beach got an awkward timing inside curve. That is going to be Silly to make it a 2v2. Arcides now on the bomb. 2 versus 1, and they know where PD is as well. They should just hop this. Arcides with the NV4 can watch over his teammate. Does he expect the high outer wall run? Yes, he does. PD does not stay alive. The gesture comes in. Solid retake from eUnited, and I'm seeing some head shakes from Felony on the analyst desk.
That's not a round you should lose. Post-plan position, you're up a man, you have basically the entire bridge controlled, and you lose the first 2 players, and nothing gets traded out. I spoke about the fact that typically Millennium, a pretty effective team at trading kills, flocking together and search and destroy. That was abysmal.
That's a perfect example right there, where you just need to hop the bomb. You cannot hesitate, and eUnited don't. Right there, they know Arcides with the NV4 is ready to challenge PD. The guy's shooting very well so far this series. Let it go.
Can we go to Gunless, actually, just because, he's gotten first blood in the first couple of series, so I just want to see if he's going to be the one to keep this streak alive. And you can see, as he's building towards that camo, this is where he found the first blood in our first round. He knows the timing, but it's going to be Arcides that actually does find the kill. I'll apologize.
Aches was better. Aches knew there.
He was.
There you go. Look, the challenge still coming in from eUnited. Again, I don't think I've ever seen this team planted A in all the times I've watched eUnited on this map in Infinite Warfare. Here comes the push through steps, quick 4-0 sweep. This is eUnited's best S&D map. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, they're dominating here. I mean, even when you're able to win a 2v3, when you have man advantage, they become even scarier. Gunless finding another kill.
Aches just thanked me for saying that he was right. I can't believe Aches can talk to me whenever he wants. This is not right.
It's not.
It really isn't. You came into what was great was, so Maven found this out that Aches could talk to us mid-game and kind of point things out. Maven came to the green room and said it, and all the casters and analysts went,
what?
No, that is not a good idea. So far, though, it's worked out quite well. eUnited again going for the same hit, pushing forward towards his top hotel hallway. Gunless did get his 3rd first blood of the game, but Silly actually shoots him in the back of the head.
Well, now, Arcides dealing with some pressure at bridge, but he's got help. You see the 3 arrows of eUnited getting set up on defense around the A site. Now the pressure looks to be coming to mid-street with the bomb. Millennium looking to get a plant going. Millennium just needs to get something going. You got 1 kill for Nolson, Marky B, and Moose. PD yet to really be involved in the action. They are just entirely getting smoked here. At least they're going to have an opportunity now to get this bomb down. They're going to play post-plant from a different site this time at least. The kills do get traded. Now we're into a 2v2.
And with that bomb going down, look at this late flank from Marky B. This is really the make or break for the round for me, because right now, eUnited can overwhelm this lower site, which is exactly what they'll do. Marky B still trailing. Do eUnited get the challenge in time to make this a 2 versus 1? They do at least get the trade. Arcides versus Marky B, left in a 1-on-1.
And I don't think he has any idea where Marky B is at this time, just because he ran the whole way around the back. So it is going to be Arcides trying to get on the bomb right now, trying to stick to the defuse. Marky B going to check it, sees his foot. See you later, pal. Millennium on the board.
Nice job by Marky B to read that one like a book. Smart play by Arcides, because it gets to a certain point, right, where When there's like 15 seconds left, 10 seconds left, you know that the guy's probably on the pop. He's got it. He's got to focus it at some point. But there with still about 20, 22 on the clock, you might catch that timing just in your favor.
Yeah.
He was probably about a second and a half off from getting that.
His only chance there was some instinct kicks in for a teammate. They're like, hey, maybe wrap back through market, and he's pre-aimed there.
Yeah.
Probably the only chance he really had in this. But Gunless, now with 3 first bloods to his name, trying to tack on another. You see a pretty passive defense coming in from Millenium.
And Millenium have played passive defense since Gunless got the first blood inside Bike Shop. You can see how the mind games have already come into play. Pristini just going to back the players off and market. Again, every single round so far, they get the control of B site. He plants it for this backside. eUnited in a 4-on-4 again with the objective plan.
Yeah, it's like Millennium's playing defense before the spawns change. Just kind of how it's coming in for them, but it's going to be Moose able to pick up the first. Now Gunless coming back out. He has Camo to work with as well. Challenges one as Silly picks it up. Going to be able to hold on to Camo for another day. No need to use it right now as they do have man advantage. He's going to get pushed. This should be another easy gunfight as Gunless keeps on rolling.
This is why he is so good. Already with Camo and Search and Destroy, 3 plants to his name this game. And if you're wondering how on earth did he just kill him so fast, the meta in those close quarters engagements, one of the players who's best at it is Apathy, the shot and the beatdown. 1 bullet and the beatdown is enough to get the kill.
See if Gunless can keep the hot streak alive. You see Marky B there. The team has to be frustrated as they haven't been able to get much going here. 6-1 for Gunless. You see the 3 plants, you see the Camo working on the Scarab as well, and they're getting aggressive. He might have saw one mid-street. Gets it, beams him. Pristini finds a kill as well. Gunless going off, man.
Everyone on eUnited looking so good right now. Moose doing what he can to try to make this 1v4 happen. Remember, he is the Camo player, so every kill he can get is absolutely huge. Down to a 1-on-2, okay. He was already weak, a quick little trade there from eUnited, but they're looking so solid right now, Maven, up 5-1.
Probably, I believe, probably Gunless sliding in to find that kill with the E-Red. He's been dominating them in Bike, whether it's the beginning of round or late rounds. Phenomenal play throughout this one.
And now, remember, viewers at home, these players know the exact score it takes for every player to earn their respective payload. So even though Millennium haven't seen with their own eyes that glowing payload meter in the bottom right of Gunless' screen showing he's got Camo, they know he's hit that score already. They know he has that tool to work with. How are they going to play around it now in round number 7? Oh, gosh.
Gunless trying to push out the backside, high up the wall run. He's got Camo to go as well. Here's a freebie. Gunless destroying 9 and 2. They've got planted. That's it. They just got smoked.
I said it as the map was starting up. It kind of clicked in my mind, right? Like, I remember eUnited dominating everyone on this map. They decide to go for the A push. Gunless gets 3 in that round with the Camo, making it look easy. eUnited now up 2-0.
It didn't feel like Millennium ever had a chance, really, in the Search and Destroy.
No.
Like, ever. It was just first blood after first blood for the side of eUnited, and this is what we expected. I mean, maybe they would be the dominant team. We thought they would come in and just destroy this group. So far, so good. I know we haven't... The test will probably be Luminosity later on, but so far, solid stuff.
You notice as well in that final round, Gunless already has the Camo. Someone else take the objective. He'll go ahead and push on up, use that as a tool to get those first kills inside Curve. Right now, it is all North America. eUnited are dominating Millennium. When we come back from this quick break, we'll see if Europeans' best can stay alive.
Welcome back. It is day one of the yellow group. If you are just joining us, so far, eUnited in control of this series over Millenium. You know, Millenium got a lot of scrims in last week. They've been here for, I think, 10, 11 days preparing. So far, the preparation has not proved to be enough against eUnited.
No, and this is obviously, for many people, the second best team in the world, eUnited.
Yeah.
So if you're Millenium, this is a tough matchup, no matter how much practice you get in. But I want to see him put up a little bit more in that search and destroy. And we talked to the analysts a little bit during the break, and I know that they're going to talk a lot about it for what eUnited did so well right there. But there was such a lack of confidence from the boys of Millenium. Think of how passive they played every defense. There was every offense, eUnited had the bomb planted within 20 seconds.
I mean, I've seen teams play more aggressive, you know, before the spawn, a little bit more favorable for the defense, but it was harder to win out to the lower street. They were playing this like I thought this was, a month and a half ago, basically, for retaliation. It was very odd to see. It's a way, we've seen Cloud9 play retaliation in the past. Very, very passive. You're always playing retakes when you're going to do that. It's not easy, man. You never set up to win in those situations.
Now remember, these are best of 5 series, and this weekend will be a double round robin. So these teams will match up later on this weekend, but for now, it is eUnited up 2-0 in this best of 5. Next up will be Uplink on Throwback. Can Millenium put up more of a fight? Hopefully, or else this will be a very quick first series of the day.
I mean, one of the surprising things this year for me has been, I guess, EU's, Europe's just general improvement in Uplink. You know, I think they were significantly behind most teams in Advanced Warfare. Same could be said for Black Ops 3 to a degree. They have improved very much. You saw how good Fnatic can be in that mode. All the EU teams really excelled at Dallas, but they need to do it here on Throwback against one of the best teams in the world. Millenium fight to stay alive in this best of 5.
I'm very interested to see again how Arcitys performs now in this game 3 on Throwback Uplink. I love to show him some love as this game goes on, but for now, it is Millenium versus eUnited. Millenium, their backs against the wall in their first matchup of the weekend. Remember, map count's so important. Obviously, series count's so important. All this stuff will come into play as we move on in this yellow group. Can Millenium put up a fight now in game 3?
Unless you're evil geniuses and you go 0-6 day 1, and it doesn't really matter. You bounce right back. But off the break, kills traded back and forth. The edge going to go to Millenium, which will give them drone control at mid. Marky B has it in his hand. They've wiped the floor with the United. Now they're looking to take this to Courtyard.
And already, this is a different type of play. Instead of focusing going towards that back grannies, they bring it into market. They try to move forward with this drone. Moose already 5-0. Marky B tagged up. Moose is a one-man wrecking crew. This should be a dunk. Oh, no!
No!
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Maven's mishaps. Mark it down.
It doesn't even matter, though, because look at the kills right now. Moose is 7-0. Drone move forward. Nelson, don't throw it on the ground. There's the dunk. Millenium strike first.
Let's get over to Moose. He is 8-0, fully streaked out. We talked about European teams. They've been absolutely electric in Uplink. This is a brilliant start. Marky B going off as well. He's got 4 kills in a row. They have punched eUnited in the face to open this map. Can eUnited bounce back?
I think after all those kills and everything we just saw, to only have it be a 2-0 game, that works for me if I'm eUnited. They just got slaughtered for the first minute. Thankfully, for Millenium, even if this game does go south or they get themselves in a little bit of a tough position, Moose already has so much utility to work with. He's 10-1 in this game.
Yeah, he has just been amazing. He was solid in the game 1 hardpoint, and you can't really knock anyone specifically for the search to destroy as they just got blown up. Now they have an answer, at least in game 3. And you know how good Nolson was in the hardpoint. Can he bring it here as well? But it's Petey in eUnited's top window, just going off right now with the ERAD. He is challenging everything. Almost picks up 3. Marky B says screw it to the gunfight. Slides right behind. How does he get through enemy lines to get a 1-pointer there? Gunless got 4 kills during that.
I don't know what just happened, but somehow Marky B made it work out. 3-0 now the lead. Now it's time for eUnited to go on the offensive as they throw the drone over. Does the one connect? No, falls just short. So the first opportunity to score in the Global Pro League for eUnited is a botched 1-point play.
Oh, we've seen a couple sloppy plays from either side, but it is a 3-0 edge for Millenium. Now, Marky B trying to push forward. Petey gets the kill a second after he drops, but here we go. Petey now with drone, trying to make the play around the back. There's no one to cut him off, and there's another score, 5-0.
Does that not remind you of what we saw from Envy a couple times in some maps where they get this great map positioning, they move on up, and then out of nowhere, the team would just run right past them because they're out of position to protect their base. eUnited, they're getting walked over right now. Finally, 4 do go down on Millenium. This is now the opportunity to go for a rally if you are the boys of eUnited.
There's only one person in the back, the rest spawning at blue, but it's Nolson going big, finding 2 kills, making sure a dunk doesn't come through. But if you're eUnited, finally a point on the board with 2 minutes left to go in the first half.
Oh my
Wow.
God! Petey just ripped Arsenes in 2.
What the hell was that?
I don't know how that's possible, but either way, Petey making it look good right now. Again, the drone from Marky B right towards his market side. He's just sneaking past these eUnited players. There's the one. Does go in. Marky B is getting away with 3 points in this game. He was by himself. There was nobody near him, Maven.
It makes me think of like the Blitz days where, you know, there wasn't the objective indicator and you could just be like sneaky, try and split through back alleys. Like, it's like no one knows where Marky B is, man. He's just dipping and diving, getting through the defense for eUnited, but it's Moose with 2 kills top mid. Nolson's got 4 in a row. Moose has 3 to go, and he's 15 and 6. Moose in the respawns has been a beast, man.
Everyone thought that, you know, after the first event, when Synaptic and the OSA went away and were banned on out, Moose would just fall off. It has been far from that. He was the top statistical player at the CWL London event, now 17 and 7 with a dunk. Every player on Millenium with 2 points as well, Maven. Everyone getting involved. This is a stomp on side 1.
It absolutely is. You know, there are maps where you flip sides and you'll see some impressive comebacks, but, you know, think back to what last week when it was Fnatic dominating early. Were there like 2 teams that didn't score in day 1 on throwback Hardpoint? Everyone just got obliterated. Yep. If you control mid-map, control that drone, you can just annihilate your opposition.
I'm actually really excited to hear Felony talk about this uplink push from Marky B towards this market side. It's so unorthodox, and eUnited do not look prepared at all for this type of play. It's been mind games so far. Look at how poor of a start you're seeing from Silly, Pristini. eUnited need to turn around side 2. They're down by 8.
Yeah, I mean, can you get away with, I guess, getting outslayed a bit in a hard point and still get a victory? Yeah, you know, we've seen them do that many times. It's a lot tougher in Uplink. You need to win those gunfights. You have to have control. And it's 9-1 Millenium. You know, you feel good about them in Uplink, but God, I didn't expect that effort in the first half.
No, not at all. And they're outslaying by 14 kills right now. I think anything eUnited do inside 2 will be a better performance than that. And this is what we talked about, stealing one of these respawns. What can they do? Unfortunately, they have to steal 2 now if they want to go for the reverse sweep. So even if they take this uplink, they have a hard point that they now have to get through as well against eUnited. What can we see from especially Pristini to make this turnaround possible?
Yeah, he's just got to wake up, man. He found a kill to open things up, but when you have a guy basically going triple neg in the first half, going to be difficult, but it's Moose with this NV4 in their top window, finds 2 early kills, long range gunfight, gets the assist, gets him 1 bullet, and here we go. Off to the races on the break. It's Moose with drone relying on his teammates to find the kills, and this is going to be 2 on the board in the opening 30 seconds. He's going to flirt with a time, allowing them to try and get back to mid-map. And look, you see the 5 there. PD's already set up to grab this drone, toss it over the building, more points coming.
And pass this one right to Moose. Okay, he's actually gonna call on his Scarab. I was gonna say, pass this one to Moose, let him go for the dunk. He'll earn that camo, be 1 kill off a Trinity rocket. He is snapping right now, 22 and 9 on a 4 streak. This is one of the more one-sided uplinks we've seen so far in the Global Pro League.
I mean, you have 2 people just marching in your base. eUnited spawning out over and over and over again, having to make that decision. Do we wrap back? Do we overextend? Nothing has worked. This is more points with the camo. 15-1, and look at mid-map. It's still a purple player. It's Marky B set up to keep doing damage.
Moose with his 2nd set of full streaks this game. 15-1 against a team that many regard as the 2nd best in the world. That is eUnited. This is, I don't know where this came from.
Well, this is, you know, I was talking to Vicento, talking to Clayster, as they played Millenium last week. They prepared, they scrimmed, and he's like, you cannot doubt these guys, man. They have kind of that sneaky slaying potential. They can compete against the best of them, and you're seeing it here. You know, games 1 and 2 didn't look pretty. This game 3, God, man, it's Jekyll and Hyde for sure. This is an insane performance from Millenium.
Just look at the scoreboard. It tells the full story of this game. Look at the points put up from Millenium. Everybody is involved in the scoreboard. Everyone has done what they could to help them get this lead. It's selfless play. It's extreme aggression as well. Everyone making the right decisions. It's great to see. And when you're outslaying by what? You got positive 13 from Moose, a combined positive 9 from the rest of the team. They have the points to back it up as well. We're going to a game 4.
I know there's 240 to work with, but the way this game has gone, there's just been, what, 3 total offensive pushes for United. You get 2 1-point throws. They had the miss early in that first half.
Yep.
Outside of that, there's just been no possession, no forward momentum really to even push towards Millennium's base. And on the flip side, Millennium's set up camp on multiple occasions.
Drone now being moved on up. Moose is already going for his second camo of this map. I don't think he'll earn it, but either way, you can see Gumless hasn't even gotten his first one yet. Drone now in the hands of Arcides, and he actually just popped overdrive through the outer run to go for the dunk and doesn't get it. We just caught the bare end of that one. They try to get crafty, and it still doesn't work, Maven.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a different scoreline, he probably makes a better play and goes for one, but here you need a dunk. You have to try and get 2 points on the board each time you're going to get a push. They're not able to do it, and that might be the dagger there as you use the overdrive. I know you have the camo available for Gunless as well, but you would have basically need to get both those dunks, and even if you get dunks out of both of those payloads,
you're still down by 9.
You're still trailing big with 90 seconds to go, so little they can do right now. You saw the drone reset right in front of Silly, as he's just trying to play fast and aggressive and do what they can to maybe make this game a little bit more respectable in the closing moments.
Yeah, and look at how far back and defensive Millennium are playing. I mean, they have 3 people on their portal. Dunk now goes in for Gunless. 11-point game with 1 minute and 15 seconds left. We talked about it enough. Either way, okay, Gunless just snaps right there with the E-Rad. Either way, this one done. We will see game 4. Another Hardpoint will come into play. So now if you're eUnited, you've got to regain after this tough map 3.
Gunless needs some help. I mean, look at the scoreline for their team right now. Gunless has basically all their points. He's the one putting on in the slaying department. He needs to when he's going to run camo, but you can't have the first half that Pristini had, and to be fair, no one else really did a whole lot of anything. Moose was just annihilating them throughout the entire map.
Yeah, shout out to Moose, man. I can't believe how good he has looked this year. Remember, he came over to North America during a time in Advanced Warfare, got absolutely destroyed, whether it was verbally or in-game, by everyone, it seemed like, whether it was pro players, the community, stuck with it, and now he's arguably the best player in Europe.
Well, I'm sure the TP can speak to this. When he teamed with him, there was definitely some frustration. I know TP and Aches would really get on him with that TCM roster. They just didn't think he could hang, thought he was a poor player, didn't have the confidence that he needed, but holy hell, has he bounced back with authority this year. He has been disgusting. He's got 6 points through. He's 30 and 20. What more can you ask for?
15-5 will be your final scoreline as Millennium win their first map of the Global Pro League, and now we've got ourselves a series, Maven.
Yeah, and that one, it was like, you feel like that victory, we should be getting hyped about it. They're going to bounce back in the series. It'll be a reverse sweep. They can do this, they can do that. But it was so lopsided from the beginning.
Yeah.
it was almost hard to get into in the sense that there was just never a thought that eUnited was coming back in that game.
I mean, Moose was, what, 8-0 off the first minute and a half of that game, or a minute of that game. Once they get those streaks, you saw the quick dunk go in. There was no map positioning for eUnited in that one. Either way, the only dunk they get is a camo play by Gunless. So that kind of shows how little positioning they had. They even tried to go for that crazy overdrive push. If you're eUnited, put that map behind you. You're going back to Hardpoint. You've already won it once a series. You win this respawn, you win the series 3-1.
I actually don't know what was worse, the beginning of the first half or the beginning of the second half. I mean, they basically set up camp in United's base just off the break. You just put them on their back foot, and it takes what? It was like 2 solid minutes for United to even feel like they had a semblance of control to even get back and fight. They just were trying to overextend, trying to fight back to their base. That did not look like a fun map whatsoever for United.
No, not at all. And Nolson, he made some big plays as well in the base of eUnited. You think back to where he was just kind of staying alive in bathroom near bowling. Moose, though, he is definitely the player to watch for Millennium. Crazy to see the talent he brings to this team. And I think a lot of it, too, comes down to the play style of this lineup. He fits in so perfectly. He's absolutely comfortable there again. 31 kills, a 1.55, the best KD on Millennium.
You know what I would love to see is a stat for how many of those 15 points came in the opening, 90 seconds to 2 minutes of both halves? If all the damage was done so quickly and then the rest was sort of keep away, just play control mid-map, it just looked so, it was like a casual victory for Millennium. It just looked easy.
I think the difference, too, in ERAD pressure as well made it so much easier for Millennium, especially when you have PD flying right up the map. Great to watch, though. Happy that the European squad is making this one close, because I was worried that eUnited would come out, stomp them, really just make this such a lopsided day. But this is what we wanted from this group, right? A lot of people saying, yes, a lot of people have eUnited in their top 2, but it's really, I could see Epsilon, Millennium, or LG taking that second spot.
You know, I mentioned it at the start of the broadcast, but yeah, there's a lot of pressure here on players like Moose to represent Europe, to show, you know, the number of teams they got in Stage 1, that reflects properly kind of the global power that is the Call of Duty World League. And right now, I know we have Splice and Crew in, but who's going to be that next team from Europe to fight for $500,000? Is it going to be Millenium? Is it going to be Epsilon? Will it be Elevate? You got to think this week is probably your best chance to see another team get in.
Yeah, and with half the teams being European, that does actually make mathematical sense as well.
It does.
As next week we know we will have another 2 European squads battling it on out. That will be Optic Gaming as well as Enigma 6 facing off against those European teams, which is Red Reserve and Elevate. They're another tough draw where I think everyone really has Optic Gaming getting first, but then it's a battle for that second place spot.
Yeah, that's why these groups turned out so well. I mean, I guess week 1 was probably the easiest to pick when you were looking at MD and Splice. This week, I think a month ago, I thought it was very easy when you looked at Luminosity and also what eUnited had been doing. But once Epsilon came alive and we heard all the stories of how well Millennium's been playing, that got flipped on its head. So we've had some entertaining action so far, and this week definitely going to prove to be a whole lot more of it.
You saw Pristini, the Panini as you called them, in an S&D round. That was a weird day for you.
It was. I was very hungry.
I was very hungry, so you began to call them different foods.
I did.
I mean, I don't really know if there's anything else you can come up with for that one, but either way, we'll keep a track of that one.
Pristini the Genie.
Okay, the different names that Maven comes up with for the players, always a fun game to play. There's more than you'd expect for sure.
Oh yeah, my brain is a strange place. I know that Revan, he used to want every day, at least once throughout our workday, he would tell me that he wanted me to get a CAT scan because he thought there was something just lodged in there that was maybe pushing on some part of my brain, just, you know, kind of spit out nonsense. I haven't got to check because I'm worried he's right.
No, and I would be too. I know another thing that's right though. It's Throwback Hardpoint will be map number 4 in this best of 5. eUnited won the first map of the series pretty handily. And they didn't outslay by a lot. If anything, I think they were actually outslayed for the most part of that map.
They were.
It came down to the selfless play in the hardpoint and the clutch kills, especially on rotation.
Well, this will be interesting. I want to start off, if we can. I was going to say Moose. Perfect. You know, Aches, we think alike. Good stuff so far, buddy. But we're going to go with Moose. He had a really big map 3. He was solid in map 1. But I feel like if you outslay on Throwback, maybe there's a better chance. There's not as many parts, I guess, to punish as you can on a breakout. Maybe here, if you're able to outslay like they did in map 1, Millennium can steal the victory.
Well, let's see if they can get it done. Moose, this is where he dominated that last map on Throwback from that top ticket window. Unfortunately, Silly does get the better of him there. Silly's going to charge on through, gets the call out that Marky B's weak. Early map positioning to eUnited as they'll put the first points on the board.
Yeah, that's a fight you probably should win if you're Moose. NV4 versus K-Bar at that range, but Silly gets the first shot and is able to take it. You got Pristini starting out 4-0. We'll hop over to his POV. Silly 2-0 right now, trying to find his third kills. Everyone's soaring in. Finally, he will drop. Let's see if Pristini can keep the streak going. He's shooting lasers right now as Nolson gets tagged up back bust.
Actually, the big thing here to point out, the spawns just flipped for this back bar and hardpoint, so now Pristini's going to fall all the way back at 5-0, now 6-0. Trying to do his best Moose impression, which is start out with full streaks off the break of the map here on Throwback. Pristini just playing for these spawns, and PD has no idea he's here.
And he drops 25 off the bombardment, but that was phenomenal play. With zero hesitation to get set up here at the back line, try to get spawns for his team, especially when he's working on streaks as well. Maybe you'll see a player play a little bit more selfish. He goes for the position for the spawns and almost able to pick up the bombardment as well. But Moose started a little bit slow. Now he's getting it going.
How has Moose not died in all of this? Finally does go down, but he just bought a ton of time for his team to push towards this hard point. Petey with the grenade should swing the number advantage to Millennium. 37-5 currently the score, but Moose stays alive so long in the back of the map. Does get one kill and forces eUnited to a terrible position where they get slayed out.
Well, terrible position, but now they get the first pick behind Silly, but it's Nolson and Marky B. Bang, bang. Everybody drops for eUnited. These final 15 ticks should go towards Millennium, and we'll have ourselves all but a tie game as we start to rotate out to bike path, and you can kind of see those light blue arrows. They're covering the bottom of the map. We're watching Arcity.
Oh my God.
Oh, who was that spawning from
Marky B.
Is that Marky B that spawned bike path?
Just spawned in the next hill.
Oh, that's favorable.
He's going to get the back bus, and I don't think eUnited are going to have any idea he's here.
I don't think they might not be ready for this split spawn. Okay, so it does look like they were prepared for it to come through. Now the spawns make a little bit more sense, but it is the way they're set up though. It's going to be a split that keeps coming in for eUnited, so they have to check each side. Marky B not able to get set up in safety, and this could be a break easily. nicely for United.
40 seconds in a row for Millenium finally does get stopped as United do catch their breath for a moment. Pristini trying to stay alive, pushed up near the sidewalk area. One thing to point out, you know, not a lot of NV4 pressure so far on this map still. These submachine gun plays, this is the slowest start we've seen from Gunless so far on a map this series. He's 5-7.
All right, now things starting to make a little bit more sense. I mean, this is a hard point where off the break, you know, when you're first trying to get set up, it's so easy to spawn into a split. But right now you can see each team spawning on the left and right and trying to fight for control here. It's contested right now. It's Arce going up top, whiffing some shots, and PD able to pick up the kill.
So this time around, when the hill moves from the middle map area towards the next hard point, it's actually the boys of eUnited who will hold the spawn. Last time it got a little bit crazy as Moose and crew spawned in market. 66-54, currently the lead in favor of eUnited. But Nolson just spawned up in that blue area. This will be a break for Millenium.
But I think it's Gunless maybe coming in behind. They actually do pick up Gunless, so now they're going to be able to win the fight in. PD getting involved as well, and you're set up nicely for Millenium. Moose is going to go ahead and use his Trinity Rocket there, try to make sure no one can break, but they don't. Actually, that was a Trinity Rocket coming in from eUnited. I'm sorry. So Moose still holding on to his. It doesn't look like it came up with anything, but eUnited able to get in the backside.
Yeah, Pristini just killed one. That was about it.
Oh, okay, I didn't even see the picture.
No, he actually did kill Moose with the rocket, so that was enough for eUnited to break on through, but geez, that was a little bit of an awkward start to that hill. At the end of the first rotation, it will be a lead for eUnited as they look to secure this series victory.
We'll watch Arcenies right now from eUnited, trying to find kills, but Moose gets 2 more. He's 11-9. On the other side, you know, you said Pristini really had to pick it up after that uplink. He certainly got it going. Gunless trying to beam one cross map. We'll have to back down and reload for now.
Nolson's having a great map so far. Gunless trying to pick things up. There's a nice quick little kill on the Marky V from him. He is leading his team in objective. 4 dead though. Everyone in the kill feed for eUnited as now Millenium will spawn all the way out towards baseball and have to fight back for mid-control.
And you got to think about this series, man. The recipe for success we were saying for Millenium was going to be what? Win 1 respawn, win your search and destroys. They did part of it. They won the uplink, they took the respawn, but just got smoked in that S&D, and that's what's going to haunt them throughout the weekend. If they can't beat teams like eUnited and Luminosity in the search and destroy, they're not going to win series.
No, simple as that. And right now, they've already dropped 1 S&D. This is a must-win hardpoint map. Gunless staying alive inside top food. But look who's playing sneaky towards top barn. I don't think they have any idea. This time it's Nolson playing for these spawns. He just needs to stay alive right here. Win this one gunfight, force this player from eUnited to spawn on out. He's tagged up Arcides. Arcides can't get away. And now Nolson's just going to play spoiler in this back area.
He has to. It's all on him right now. He's waiting on one more teammate to back up. Good movement there to get away. Dips in the barn. He survived. They weren't able to find him, and now his teammates all in on the action as well as the rest of Millenium starts to collapse. It's a teammate. He does all that work, and it's PD that kills him.
Hey, you know what, PD? Kill him if you're going to get that 2-piece right after. Millenium looking to take back this lead right now, 111-105. Great stuff from them as the slaying very even again, just like the first hardpoint.
It absolutely is, but a lead change coming through. Millenium gets it, but Arcides finds 2, and he's now set up inside a bar. Now, it is going to be eUnited's turn to try and hold here, looking out towards Courtyard. Arcides looking for kills. There's 3 here. Tags up 1, swaps to the K-bar, able to finish the kill. His teammates backing him up as well, but the gunfight's now going to be going down in barn. Gunless finds 2 inside, and eUnited keeps control.
And Gunless now started to turn things around in this map. Can eUnited bounce off of that? No streaks to go for these teams. The first thing really to watch out for will be the payloads. Arcides just trying to get away with his life. He's actually the closest to earning some score streaks. Just 1 kill off the Trinity Rocket. Spots a second there, but the hip fire not going to connect from range.
Yeah, not able to snap and finish that kill. He's been tagged up going into it as well. But here we are. Nolson up over the top. Should be traded out momentarily. Gunless gets the kill, but it's Pristini actually cutting him down shortly after. But Millenium looking for yet another lead change in this game.
And maybe another thing to point out, this is actually one of the better Centurion maps in our rotation. When you think of how they can be used on this bottom bike path hardpoint, you play it right here at this close wall. If someone tries to slide on through, they'll obviously get stunned and caught out there for a second. When you think of back barn, you drop it right inside that hill. It just creates a terrible nuisance for the opposing team. And even in baseball, it can be something to use to just kind of watch a flank for your team. You drop it in bike path. You put it right outside that middle push area in underpass. Teams beginning to earn that payload, especially as this game goes on. It's Arcity's getting closer and closer to it. The rest of his team, though, already with payloads to use. Let's see if they come into play.
I'm not sure if Pristini pushed around the back or if he actually spawned blue, but Pristini going to be in a prime position here. Easy pickings as he gets a couple kills. The third just one billet short as PD's able to win it. Now it's going to be a bloodbath. One team spawning blue, the other spawning bowling, and they're just going to keep fighting in here, just pounding into the hard point. Now the spawn's coming out a little bit further, but it is eUnited that gets the edge.
Gunless pops the camo there to secure the push for his team. Fantastic use for me, especially since there's 30 seconds left on this hard point. Gets a little bit aggressive there into bowling, but I don't think he needs to. And because of that, Nolson and crew will break the hard point.
They break it. They get the close spawn there at bus, so they're going to be set up to deal with any pressure. I don't even know if you take another stab at this. There's 20 seconds left to go. Maybe you get a little bit of scrap time here, but you want to make sure you're not feeding streaks to anybody. Nolson, the only one that really has anything going right now. Who's going to get the final couple ticks here? It will continue to be Millenium. Now let's see where the spawns come in. They actually spawn there top courtyard.
Oh, and PD should have the push from this bottom underpass area. Does at least take one with him to the grave. Marky B does kill him on off with the scatter. Millenium absolutely have a chance of winning this respawn. Of course, in the game 5, they're up 171 to 168.
Well, here we go to our third rotation. Moose flanking in behind. He's set up, one bullet away from winning another big one. Who's going to be able to get the edge here at mid-mapping? Right now, with how close this game has been, you just can't let anyone dominate. Just split this back and forth. Try to split the time. It's our next rotation through Barn that's probably going to cement this game one way or the other.
And think of how quiet Gunless was at the start of this map. He was the least amount of time on his team, least amount of kills, now almost leading his team in kills. He's got the most time. He's continuing to improve as the map goes on. eUnited back up by 5. Key thing to point out again, though, towards Barn, it is going to be Millenium with more of a presence near this new hill. Can they lock down the early spawns? Reactive used for nothing. Reactive gets popped by Pristini, and Moose just cuts him down.
I was just about to say, this is the time where the payloads come in huge. Payloads! Not going to get it done there, though, but Millenium in control of Barn for the time being, but everybody flooding on through. Which way will the kills go? One down for either side. It's going to be eUnited in, but Millenium fighting from the outside, and there is a clean sweep as Gunless drops. Millenium set up yet again, but you get a pretty close spawn here for LG. They're going to be able to flood one more time.
eUnited trying to push right on through. They've got a number advantage for the moment. Gunless with first blood. Moose and crew trying to develop this pinch, but it's Gunless watching that area. Here comes Marky B, though. He could play spoiler. He cuts him down. Millennium trying to fight for every bit of scrap time they can get, but it's eUnited again back on the offensive.
eUnited trying to fight in here, but it's PD
Look
and
at
Marky
these kills!
Holding strong. Yeah, well, they keep spawning close. It's just flood. Everyone trying to get in. No one got control of Barn there for more than, what, five seconds or so? This might be the longest bit of control we've seen here at Barn for the third time through.
100% is, and now Arcity's with Centurion. I want to see him use it on this next hard point. I want to see eUnited set up, win the game here. Do not give Millenium a chance on baseball at all. You should see Arcity's drop down to Centurion. This is the exact example I brought up earlier. They cannot push him now. The trophy systems will defend him from the grenades. He knows his player's one shot. Teammate should clean it up. eUnited, they want to win right now off this hard point, Maven.
They need 20 more points. Can they close it out? They're pushing them back, but Moose finds a lot of kills. There you see PD going to be using reactive as now they're going to try and get in. Still got some juice in it. Keeps him alive in the corner, but it's a nade from Gunless to cut him down. Millenium has to fight tough. They have the spawns in control for when we go over to Statue. They just can't let them close out the game here. They're about 5 seconds or so for making sure eUnited can't win it.
And look, Nolson, he's just got to stay in this close corner. Now he'll get challenged. Gunless catches him off guard with the ERAD. eUnited will go ahead and come out on top in the trades. There's still enough time to win off this hard point, so Millenium, they can't even set up yet for the new hill. They've got to flood this. I think finally now it's no longer possible, but either way, the damage has been done. Full streaks for Gunless. The guy's almost at 40 kills, Maven.
Oh, Gunless destroyed. I think if he didn't start a little
GG, it's over
early in the game,
they're set up.
He may drop 50. But this should be it. The streaks now coming in from Gunless. Everybody being nuked out, but somehow PD's still here.
Nope.
PD's still trying to hold strong, but there's the final tick. eUnited win the first series here for week 3 of the Yellow Group.
Millennium put up a great fight, but in the end, it's Gunless who just kept picking it up more and more and more as the map went on. Some solid uses of the payloads as well. You think of the Centurion there, especially near bottom bike path, that trophy system defense. So many assists came in. eUnited 1-0 in Group Yellow.
And eUnited looked brilliant. I mean, outside of the uplink, obviously they look solid in Hardpoint. They showed they could get the job done when you have a monster game from Gunless or you don't. They got it done without the big slaying performances in that first game. But there, I mean, Gunless just goes off. It seemed like it was a juggernaut fight between him and Moose for who was just going to drop the biggest bomb. The final drop going to be coming there from eUnited.
Yeah, great stuff to see from them. And if I'm Millenium here, at least you put up a fight, right? You got destroyed in Game 2 S&D, and I think a lot of us thought, here comes the 3-0 sweep. Millennium, but dominate in the uplink, and then at least keep it close in the hard point.
But that's where I feel like that's what the way you worded that's almost how we talked about Mind Freak in week 1 and then Fnatic last week. Like, oh, they fought them tough. But if you don't get W's, it does not matter. Now, I know map counts are going to be important. Winning that uplink could prove crucial, but they have to fix the search and destroy because that blowout there in retaliation is what may have ended up costing them a series.
I want to see if United can stay that hot in the game mode this weekend, or is it still just retaliation that is their map that they really just don't lose? Either way, some good notes to take away from that series. Our city's looking good. Gunless looking better than everybody else in the lobby, though.
Well, eUnited gets the first victory for the yellow group, and to rejoice and celebrate, Matt has Silly on the floor.
Thanks, Clint. So, Silly, you guys win this first match against Millenium. It was your first match, and Dallas as well, against Millenium. That one went the distance 3-2. Is there anything about Millenium that just gives you guys a lot of problems?
I mean, we're not used to scrimming the European team, so whenever we do play them, they have different play styles and different game modes. As you can see in the uplink, it didn't go very well for us, so we're just not used to that.
And then coming into this event, I believe you moved, Pristini moved. How difficult was it to get practice coming in? Do you guys feel a little bit maybe like behind in terms of practice?
Our practice has still been okay. I mean, especially considering 2 of us moved, out, had to get new internet set up. It's just really hard to scrim with each league week because we don't want to scrim anyone in our pool, but there's the teams we usually scrim are gone each weekend, so we've been playing as much as we can, but maybe only 1 scrim a day.
And then in the uplink, you talked a little bit about it. What went so wrong for you guys in uplink, a game mode that at least I think you guys have been pretty strong in?
One of their players started off like 7-0. Once you get full streaks that early, you basically have control of the game. It was just, we couldn't come back. We couldn't rally together at all, so.
Pretty difficult after that. Once they get streaks, it's impossible to come back. But congratulations. You guys win this first match against Millenium. We'll see you later against Luminosity. Let's go to the desk to hear their thoughts on this first match.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you, Silly. It's all done here for match number 1. eUnited takes it 3-1. But let's talk about the big picture here. This was our first impression on LAN at the Global Pro League for both of these teams. Felony, I want to start with you. What did you see from this eUnited squad?
eUnited played at a very fast pace, and on top of playing very fast, they kept the slaying very even. So in every respawn, even though they were getting outslayed to a point, they could really come back into the game and keep the game close and set up for those money hills, especially on breakout.
And TP, we were a little bit surprised by that uplink game. We'll get to it more in depth, but what did you see from Millenium? Because it seems that S&D isn't necessarily their guaranteed game mode, but uplink might be that game mode for them this weekend.
I think it maybe just was a bad game for Search and Destroy for those guys. I think overall the things you have to take away is Moose is an absolute beast. We've been talking about him this entire year in Infinite Warfare. He performs again. And I think the biggest difference we need to see from them overall is PD being consistent. He's been their highest pressure player, especially with that ERAD. He was able to do it on the uplink, but unless he's able to do it on those other maps, I think they're going to continue those struggles there.
All right, we're going to jump in now with our breakdown of the series, starting with game number 1, breakout Hardpoint, 250, 169. But walk me through it, Joe. What were some of the big moments for you?
I just think at the beginning, Millenium just had a way different style, something we didn't really see. eUnited, they jump out to a 25-0 lead, but Millenium kept their spawn, and that's something we haven't typically seen. Usually you see a fight over that middle hill. Millenium, they decide, you know what, we're just going to take control of cell block, but it wasn't enough. I mean, they didn't really control commissary enough. That's where eUnited really started to break away. Just that middle hill, something that eUnited does such a good job at. They put so much pressure on the map, and it's just typical eUnited. They don't typically outslay teams, but they play so fast, they're always in the game.
And Felony and TP, I know you guys were talking about just being surprised by how well they played on that middle hard point. Commissary, it was all eUnited. They locked it down every time as Millenium was more focused on cell block. What do other teams have to look at, though, knowing you're playing eUnited later in this tournament, probably on the same game mode?
I think overall you need to focus on that back commissary, focusing on those back spawns. You saw Millenium do a very good job of that early, getting it for cell block. But when you got on that rotation from cave over to back commissary, they weren't sacrificing that same sort of situation. They weren't rotating back. They weren't focusing on it enough. And when you give a team like eUnited an opening like that, you're probably not going to break them when their setup is that strong, especially when you have someone like Gunless. It's tough to get through him without him taking down a couple of your players. So I think you need to start sacrificing and playing for the long game. I think the common issue you saw from Millenium in those hard points is the first couple of rotations, fine. As the game went on longer, some mistakes shine through.
Yeah, and I think their practice sort of came through. You could tell they had a strategy going to every single map. That North American practice, sort of their boot camp here, sort of paid off. They switched things up. They had a different strategy. It just seems like they focus on part of the map, just not the entire thing, and that's where eUnited really took an advantage of them.
You got to win that helicopter control. Didn't seem to happen. Let's jump over now to game number 2. This was a 6-1 domination. First Bloods were 6-7 in favor of eUnited. They controlled that first kill almost every time. And before I let you guys break it down, we have Chance at the Telestrator to break down round 2. Chance, how did it all play out?
Well, the first Bloods were incredibly important, but even in situations where eUnited did not have the man advantage, they were still able to pull a lot of stuff out of the bag. The situation I'm going to be breaking down was actually the 2v3 that eUnited was able to clutch up in round number 2, and the situation was pretty brutal. As you're going to see on the full screen, we have the 2 members from eUnited. They're going to be coming from the top of the map. That's going to be at Graveyard. Those are your red circles. Now, 3 members from Millenium, all of your blue circles. That bomb is down. Planted. There's about 25 seconds left in the round. The key player is going to be this guy right here. He's going to push out, and he gets caught. He goes too early. The only thing this player from Millenium needs to do is wait for his teammates that are here and here. They just need to wait till they call out exactly where the players from eUnited are coming from. This first player gets picked off, and as soon as that happens, the play falls apart. The other players from Millenium are going to have to challenge, and then they get hit on the bomb site. So again, the players that get too over-aggressive over in the hallway did not be patient enough for his teammates, caused his team to play. We're going to take a look at that and see exactly where that problem is going to come up for Millenium. So you're going to have Moose on your screen as well, getting that information. That's how they know the players from eUnited are coming over from Grave. But the player right there comes out and challenges, and Silly is patiently waiting, and RCD is instantly picks up that trade kill. So again, Silly just caught that player coming out of that hallway before anything had happened. So again, if that player just patiently waits for eUnited to challenge the players that are coming down the street, they would have been in a much better position. So again, you know, first Bloods were an incredibly important factor, but clutching up the 2v3s as well. eUnited, fantastic job in the search and destroy, and we got Puckett and the boys to break down the rest of the game.
All right, thank you so much, Chance. He's our weatherman today over on the Telestrator. Let's break down game number 2, though, in whole. What did you see? It looked like eUnited was just playing with another level of confidence here.
I think overall you have to talk about the map control. Gunless was, you can see how well he did in that one, 10 kills for him. But the biggest thing is with that ERAD, you need to put so much pressure. And we saw in that first round, I think that's really what changed the map entirely in terms of Millenium's strategy. Gunless got up and got that first kill at Bike, and then everything just sort of seemed to fall apart.
Yeah, after that first kill that Gunless got on that offense, every single round, Millenium just played a very slow defense and allowed Gunless to just get bomb control every single time with camo, and he just kept getting his plants down, kept working towards his specialist, and then after a few rounds of planning and getting a kill, you have your camo already, and it's just a tumbling effect for Millenium, and they just gave up a lot of specialist control in the game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just that 3v2 that Chance sort of broke down, that was Millenium's chance to really get into the game, get that offensive win, get into your momentum. But, I mean, eUnited, you just watch them. They're just like a pack of wolves. On defense, on offense, all 4 of them are together. And it just seemed like Millenium, they were so spread throughout the map. eUnited always picked up our first blood. And if they didn't, it was a quick trade, always allowing them to sort of insert their dominance throughout the round.
eUnited just, they know how good they are. That's the only way I can explain sort of how they're playing. On their defenses, they're just 4 hitting up Hotel Hallway. You're not really used to seeing that. It just shows the amount of confidence that they have. And I think Millenium just didn't really know what to do. Whatever side of the map eUnited decided to hit, it just seemed like one player from Millenium was caught off guard. They got that first blood, and then the whole map was just open for them. And after that, it just was a clean wipe.
It seemed that in all game modes that the teams trading for eUnited, just the trading ability was so much more on point than we saw from Millenium. I think that's something we need to look out for Millenium moving forward. But their one shining point in this series was the uplink. Game number 3 was never close. It was a blowout despite even fumbling the drone in the first minute. They tack on 15 total points. Moose shows up as their lead slayer, taking over the game. Let's break down this uplink, fellas. What were the big game-changing moments in favor of Millenium?
I mean, again, just right off the start, sort of Millenium has a different strategy. They get, 3 to 4 down, and what they decide to do is they throw that drone down the tunnel. They take it towards Barn, which typically you don't do. Typically you take it towards that lemon side, but they try to control Barn, and you could tell it caught, eUnited off guard all the time. How many times were they on the drone carrier, and he was just sort of weaving and bobbing throughout the Barn and getting dunked. So just a different strategy from Millenium.
And do you think the other North American team, Luminosity, will be prepared for something like this? Have you seen any teams in all of your scrims, Felony, that have used that same strategy we just saw from Mill?
Yeah, when a team starts overcommitting to that lemon side of the map and you have ball control, you can kind of just, your players off spawn, you can kind of just toss the ball over towards Barn side, and then those players on the other team have to rotate all the way back to their base to be able to catch that ball off guard. And by the time that already happens, you're already set up to be able to catch those guys rotating back, and then you just have a full trap going from there.
And I think one of the big difference makers was Petey's showing up big in game number 3. That wasn't really the case. Game number 4, same map, throwback Hardpoint this time around. Mill, it took them up until 171 to 168 for them to take the lead for the first time in this game. It was pretty dominated by eUnited in the opening half. Talk me through this one, Merc.
I mean, I'm just looking at the scoreboard, and we've talked about eUnited Hills, their first hill. Look at that. That's 41 points. That's the difference maker. It was very similar on Breakout. They're constantly putting pressure on that hill number 1. That first hill, the reason why we're putting such emphasis on it is because that's supposed to be a contest hill. You're supposed to trade time. And again, Millenium, what they decided to do is put a lot of emphasis on hill number 2, try to play that Barn as well as they can. And eUnited, they just take the free time.
And the one thing I have to note that was really bothering me is in the later seconds of bike path, you have to focus on that rotation towards baseball. They weren't really doing it. They would die in those last couple of seconds and spawn out over towards Barn. They'd leave that last player just alone in like a 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3 situation on both rotations. So if Millenium goes back and watches that VOD, it's the same mistakes on both hard points. I think it's an easy fix. They just need to focus on the later hard points in the rotation a bit better.
Is Millenium a threat for the other 3 teams in this weekend, I guess, Felony?
Yeah, for sure. They played eUnited very close. eUnited probably top 2, top 3 NA teams, and they played them close in pretty much every game mode besides the Search and Destroy. So if they can come back, fix their Search and Destroy, and then play Luminosity and Epsilon, I think they'll be close series.
All right, well, we do get a chance to see both of our teams play again later tonight. eUnited versus Luminosity will close out the day, but all day long, we want you guys to be interacting on MLG.TV, the enhanced viewing experience, our EVE. We got up-to-date event statistics. You can watch featured player POVs, and we got the score streak. Joe, I know you've been playing along. What is this thing?
I mean, it's just, we're going to have a question in the chat. If you get it right, you go on a streak. And, last week we saw a good amount of people. I'm sure we're going to show that leaderboard later, throughout the weekend. But we saw people get 9, 10 questions in a row. It was very impressive. You get a nice little cool badge on top of it.
We got great predictors out there. Match number 2 is coming up in any moment. For now, though, let's lay out and take a look at some of the best moments from match number 1 as eUnited takes down Millenium 3-1.